You are listening to The Insider with Brian Lloyd. The opinions expressed are that of the individuals and can sometimes be of an adult nature.
On today's Insider podcast, we are talking to Conor Maloney, who directed the proof of concept trailer Ayamé. Am I pronouncing that right?
Perfect.
Ayamé. Conor, first off, thanks for talking to us. Now, if I'm right in saying you actually directed this 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Why was that? Why did you sit on it for so long?
Well, it was an idea that came out about 4 years ago, and then I kind of looked into making it and couldn't really get it off the ground, and then eventually found out that my parents had been paying into a life insurance policy for me, and I kind of was like, look, Mum said there's money there to bury you that we've been paying for, you can't have that. And then she went off, and I was kind of asking family and stuff, I was like, look, I kind of would need a bit of money to do this, would it be possible to get it? And that was looking likely, but then Mum came back and said that, look, there is this thing, but just don't tell your dad. I was like, cool, nice. So I whacked it up with her, that was the deal.
Right.
So that came out about then, and everything sort of seemed to fall into place, and Ardmore Studios came on board. They kind of liked the idea. There wasn't much going on. I think we were the only stage active at the time when we got it. So we approached Siún out there, and she kind of said, yeah, cool, you can have it for 3 days as long as you kind of pay the light and heat. That was basically the only thing. We didn't really have stuff. So the idea was that strong, and I went from there. And I kind of, when it was finished, I was left with a bunch of green screen footage, which, you know, I cut it kind of myself and stuff like that. I had it all ready to go.
Yeah.
And there's not much I could do. I tried to teach myself a lot of things.
Yeah.
This was maybe 3 years ago, and then when Malone came on board, and just it was around the same time that my film got picked up. My short film got picked up, Blink, in Montreal.
Yeah.
And everything was kind of happening, and Win Malone were on board, and they'd kind of helped me with it. And I said, look, I had this stuff, would you be interested? And they loved it. Like Dave Hughes, the creator, was like, this has been done. Fred Birdie was like, I have to do it. And Jennifer Connelly and stuff kind of said, yeah, cool, we'll get you in and we'll get going. And that's where it came. So it was finished 2 years ago, and I sat on it because I didn't think that the industry was ready, and I wanted to get my work up to scratch, because this thing was beautiful. It was done. Like John Hurt had come on board for nothing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, and so I didn't want to put it out, and then people look at my work and go, well, he doesn't have much.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of went from there to go, well, look, I'll get my work up to spec and then release it. And sci-fi is kind of in demand at the moment, I think.
It is, yeah. I mean, you look at like Rory Robinson's concept trailer for Leviathan, and of course he got, you know, off the back of that, he got Chuck Palahniuk, and he got, you know, all those people involved in it. I mean, was the Leviathan and the success with that, I mean, was that a driver for you to say, yeah, well, if he could do this, I've got this?
Yeah, big time, yeah. I think because seeing something like that, because I mean, he'd done Last Days of Mars and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've also been, did he win an Oscar, or was he nominated for an Oscar for 50% Grey? It was
something, there was something in it, I think.
Yeah, so it was a great boost for me to see that something like that. Also people like Gary Shore as well, who did Cup of Tears and went on to do Dracula and stuff. It was it showed that it kind of gave people a taste of what I could do without really seeing the whole piece. And that's kind of when I seen his, I was like, right, now it's kind of time to release. So I did research and got it out, because it is kind of like the advertising game that I'm kind of in, where when we started off, a lot of people would say to you, oh, your ideas are great, your work looks great, but we'd kind of need to see more stuff. But how are you going to do the bigger end stuff unless you get given a chance on? So this is what it was to show people to kind of that would be able to take a chance on.
And how has the reaction been?
It's been phenomenal. I never thought that it would be this big. It's literally, I'm exhausted from trying to get back to people and talk to people and do stuff. It's unbelievable. So
has it been anything solid? I mean, if you don't want to mention it, that's fine.
No, I won't go into it. But there is quite a good few leads of stuff.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I mean, do you have a script ready for it? I mean, because this is the thing. Like when you see these proof of concept trailers. And I'm telling you right now, I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a great idea. But you do see a lot of these things where they'll have a trailer and they'll have like a kind of concept in mind, because it's a proof of concept, don't forget. But they won't have a script ready to go, and they won't kind of have, you know, they'll need more time to kind of get it to there. You know what I'm sort of way. So my question is, I mean, do you have a script lined up? Do you have a story in mind? Yeah,
I have the kind of world mapped out. Okay. And I have a version of a script which we're still tinkering with, to the point of, like, when we did it 2 years ago, we've had that 2 years to kind of refine everything, and me and the two writers, Stephen and Al Tully, we had a script which we cobbled together within a few months, but it was 400 pages long. And at the time, it was going to be a big trilogy and all this. So we've kind of refined the idea down now, looking at, because what I really wanted to try and do is get it, like the piece is very slow. You watch it, it evolves at its own pace. Yeah, like it really is kind of looking back, big influence of Kubrick and Fincher and stuff like that. So it would be, it just kind of evolves at its own pace, and you kind of watch it and go, oh, wow, is it a beast? Is it what? Yeah, well, it's a girl, you know, that's the kind of thing. And so I did the test piece for Coca-Cola. And there is similarities, although it is a product piece for Coca-Cola, there is little similarities within there. Like you can see the helmet there, the logos on the wall. If you look hard enough, they're in there. So it kind of is the same world to try and, for me to go, well, I want to make a test commercial, 90 seconds to fit in, to show off. That commercial was made in a garage with a budget of about €1,000, a friend's garage. And then again, Milane came on board and said, yeah, cool. And what started off to be, let's do this within a month and let's get a bunch of computers and all parts and stuff, turned out to, we had friends, brothers, who were carpenters, we had Win Lane back again, we had all sorts of things going on, and that's where that kind of evolved it. So it is part of the same world, so it's just to give people another taste before, you know, because no one wants to really sit down and read 120 pages or 200 pages. Everyone just wants to be shown, oh, I'd like to look at that, yeah, let's have a chat. And that's where it's kind of at.
In terms of the actual story, I mean, again, like, I mean, you know, it's a proof of concept trailer, so it's the kind of thing that you're just kind of one little glimpse of the story. I mean, what actually is the story? I mean, can you?
Yeah. Well, it's in the log line. It's that Earth is in a disastrous state. Something is happening, which I won't give away. Yeah. We have to look elsewhere to move the planet, and that's where we pick up in our story with our characters. And during the sort of exodus of the planet, something happens which makes our lead character have to go back to look for one of his own on his team, and that's where it gets. So the proof of concept is, God, it's about halfway in the story. It's about halfway through.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay. I mean, and was that a conscious decision, or was that a case of, okay, right, I've got X amount of money, so I can do it. I can do this one scene, and that will kind of be an encapsulate of it? Or is it a case of, this is the best scene I can do with the most amount of money I've got?
Yeah, I think, well, what I wanted to do was make something a little bit different, a little bit more. It's a chance.
Yeah.
It's 5 minutes long, but it is a chance to go, like, a lot of people have an attention span of maybe 30 to 2 minutes. That's it.
Yeah.
But with this, it was, I could either make a trailer and maybe get lost in the fan trailers.
Yeah.
Because you type in Star Wars, you don't, you know, there's a hell of a lot of stuff that comes up.
Yeah.
You type in any movie you want and you sit there watching it for 5 minutes before you go, this isn't the trailer I was looking for, you know.
Yeah.
I could do that and it could get lost. And again, trying to sell a trailer is a little bit harder, I think, than trying to sell something that you've watched 5 minutes of. It kind of is a short film at the same time. And a lot of short films like District 9 and stuff, you know, like that kind of way. And that's kind of why I chose it. And money as well. Like that was 3 days green screen as opposed to a week of numerous setups and guns and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I just had to get one suit designed. I had to get one gun designed. Do you know what I mean? And it was fairly cheap. I would have rather gone to Iceland to shoot it. You know, to have something there. But look, this is what I ended up with, and I think it's really served a purpose, and it's doing the job.
Just actually on that, like, because I mean, again, you know, not to kind of keep focusing on money and stuff like that, but like, I mean, I understand that you cashed in a life insurance policy. I mean, did you not think of doing Kickstarter? Or, I mean, was it just a case of, no, I want to do this now, this is here? I mean, are you averse to Kickstarter? Because I've noticed in the last like 3 to 4 years, a lot of like directors that are starting off, they seem to kind of shy away from Kickstarter. It doesn't seem to be kind of like the in vogue way of getting money for a film anymore. Well,
when I was looking, maybe about 4 years ago, 4 years ago, and it would have been a hell of a long process, and I didn't have John Hurt until the very end.
Yeah.
Like, I had 3 names, that was my list. John Hurt was top of the list.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't think I could have gotten like a better person to do it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have had anything to give. You know what I mean? Like, there was a film made which is kind of a zombie thing in the tunnels. I can't remember what it was called, but they kind of sold sales of the movie for $1.
Yeah.
And you think, you know, I can't do the maths, but like a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
With 24 frames a second, whatever it is, that's where they do it. But it wouldn't have the right tools to entice people in.
Sure.
You know, if you had boxes with John Hurt's autograph, yeah, cool. That's the way
Absolutely.
we go.
Yeah,
people would pay a lot of money for that. But I didn't have that sort of stuff. And when I was looking into Kickstarter, I think it was sort of relatively newish.
Yeah.
At the time, like I know I got tweeted the other day about a guy saying I should follow the Kickstarter route who did Iron Sky. And he's doing Iron Sky 2. Like he only raised about $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, God, you do a lot. I could probably make it with $1 million. I don't know. Like it's just kind of, you do need other avenues as well.
Yeah.
So in doing this, that's where I rationalized to myself that this was the best way to do it.
Yeah. Because like Duncan Jones, like he made Moon for like about 3 million, I think. Something like that.
I don't know who financed that. Was it the lottery or?
No, it was your one, Trudy Schuyler.
Ah, okay. And he got perfect time with the writer's strike.
He did, yeah. Like, he did really, really well with that.
The miniatures and stuff were flawless. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a fantastic film. Actually on that topic, I mean, and I asked this of every director, and I know this is kind of like a proof of concept thing, but it's still kind of relevant. I mean, were there films that you watched, or were there like specific influences that you had in mind when you were making it?
Ridley Scott would be the big one, Alien.
Like,
that's the mecca, hence John Hurt. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the way to look at. But as a kid, I was probably influenced by John Carpenter, and the Thing would be up there with one of my favorite films. Of, you know, you look at Dark Star, which is also Dan O'Bannon, which is the Alien connection. But that was a college film, but it was amazing. But I didn't really want to do, you know, let's do a full feature film. I don't think I was ready at that stage. I called in every single favour. That was maybe 6-7 years of favours that I'd worked up throughout the industry going, I'll do this for you for nothing, don't worry about it. And
I'll call back to you another time.
I'm calling back everything, and I called in everything. I'm still paying off those favours. It's horrible. But it's, I didn't want to just rush into something. I wanted to take my time, and hence the slowness of the piece. It is kind of just, it's different.
Yeah, it's a mood piece.
Yeah, I didn't want to go Michael Bay with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you, I'll put something to you, because like you look at like Gary Shore, for example, like I said, who did Cup of Tears, and you know, was a really, really strong director, and then he was approached by a major studio to do Dracula Untold. And you know, I mean, is it the sort of thing that, would you rather, I mean, like, just say hypothetically tomorrow, major studio came to you and said, yeah, we saw Ayamé, we love it, forget that though, we want you to do this instead. I mean, is this trailer like a calling card for you, or is the case of, no, I want to make this film and this film only? Honestly.
Well, I mean, if someone offered me something else, I would instantly do it. I do think the studios revolve around trust.
Yeah.
Like, would they give me 100 million? Probably not.
Yeah.
But would they give me a smaller film to start off with to work your way up? Yeah, I do think it's about proving your worth within the industry. So hence the kind of Coca-Cola stuff. That was a way for me in advertising, so agencies could go, this guy could do some decent looking stuff. That was a very limited budget, but give me a bigger budget and we'll see. And I think with this, it's the same kind of idea to go, I made this for practically nothing. It's pittance. If you give me a bigger budget, I'll do something with it. Now, a lot of even agencies and production companies work off the mindset of, let's work together on something, and then we'll talk about it. You know, like Gravity. And his next movie was something else, or Christopher Nolan with Inception. Like, it is kind of that way that you know, I'm open to anything. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'll roll with whatever to get a foothold. Because I do think that it is. Somebody had told me before that, you know, you can make a piece of work that'll knock on a door, or you can make a piece of work that'll burst through a door. And I think that's what this has sort of done. In it's how different it is. You know, it's not a trailer. It's not just the usual sort of stuff you see. It is looking back to the past. I'd love to try and do everything real in camera as much as I could. The kind of Christopher Nolan way. But like, look at Alien. Like, you know, it's miniatures. It's beautiful. Aliens as well. Like, I know there was a lot of forced perspective stuff, but like, that's the way I'd really like to think.
And that's actually funny. I mean, if tomorrow you're given the budget for Ayamé, I mean, you're obviously going to try to do it as much in camera as possible.
Yeah, big time. I would love to do that. Like we on the fun parts of that, we're building stuff, like getting your hands on the gun, retrofitting guns, putting bigger bits of pipe onto it, like so it became over a few foot long. And that's what I'd really love to do. And I think as well, you know, in working with green screen that way, it is a weird thing to go to be something behind you. Just go with it. You know what I mean? Like you always hear those people talk about the aliens coming in, and you can't know what it is. To have something there that you can hold in your hand and go, "This is it." I think you get a better performance out of it.
But is it not more expensive though?
It is, and it isn't. The way I kind of see the world is very rustic, diesel punk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I would see it. Not even steampunk. It's kind of diesel
cyberpunk
soaked.
kind of.
It's dirty. It's uncomfortable. Things jut into you when you sit. It's not lush beauty. You know what I mean? That's the way I would kind of think of it. The same way the Coca-Cola was. The world would probably look like that. You know, a spaceship probably in my world would be very uncomfortable. You know, and would be of a practical use rather than a luxury cruiser or, you know, something like that with bits of metal stuck together. You know.
Is it, I mean, you know, you've made this proof of concept trailer and it's obviously, you know, it's done the business for you and it's done very well. And obviously, again, I don't want to push you on where you're going with it, but I mean, you know, setting out kind of like these sort of trailers and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to say they're 10 a penny, but they are quite common. Yeah. So my question is, I mean, you know, you've talked a bit about how, you know, this isn't like a big blockbuster kind of thing. This was just like an atmospheric piece and so on and so forth. I mean, did you at any point did you wrestle with the concept of actually, no, I should put a bit more action into this? Or was it a case from the start, no, I'm going to make it look like this? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I had all sorts of ideas, and the initial idea I had was way too big to take on for the money that I could get. It was all very much money dictated. I didn't want to make something that was filled with action and pleased the masses, but it looked like crap. You know, especially in the time frame I have to try and get a story across. I thought it was better to kind of pare back and leave people guessing. So anyone I showed it to in the 2 years that I sat on it was like, I need to know what happens next. Yeah. And that was the response I was looking for. Yeah. So, you know, if we do another piece or if someone wants to finance me to do another piece, or if that's the next stage or whatever happens, that will be more drama based to really show people what could happen within it. You know. And
I mean, again, this is it, because I don't want to push you on it, but I mean, do you have a cast in mind for it?
I have certain people in mind. Yeah.
Could I push you on one or two of them? I mean, would you get John Hurt back? I think you would, wouldn't you?
I would. Yeah. 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 And this, you know, he's in good health now, so it's all it's all
great
good.
To see, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll keep it to myself.
Would it be Irish people?
There would be one or two Irish people in there, yeah.
Okay.
But the rest would be sort of people that I've watched who I would just love to work with.
Yeah.
And there might be a few other Alien connections thrown in there. Maybe some Fincher connections as well. You know?
Interesting. Like Alien 3, Fincher?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you like Alien 3? Did you?
I loved
Really?
I studied that as well for, the Coca-Cola stuff and the look. Because his hands were so tight on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I read some article or watched the making of that it was kind of all these voices in the back of his head, and when he went to do it, they were all gone. And he puts it down to he wanted to make a china cup, where the studio wanted to make a beer mug. And I think that sums it up perfectly, that the guy was just left in the lurch. And I hope I never ever get to feel what that's like. But you know, I loved it. I thought the look was amazing.
But you see that though with a lot of like directors starting off, they are quite hamstrung by studios.
Yeah,
you know, that sort of way. Like you do see that a lot. Like you look at even like Duncan Jones. There's kind of a whiff going around that in Warcraft. Yeah. He was kind of he's kind of been had his hands tied behind his back by the studio and so on and so forth. And he's a massive fan of Warcraft. Like, I mean, do you fear that? I mean, you know, because again, like, don't forget, like, I mean, if you're coming in to start and you're talking about, you know, trust with the studio and so on and so forth. So it's the kind of thing that you are going to have to trade off a certain amount of your vision in order to keep it going. Like,
well, I think there's a certain amount to pay off with anything, and I do really feel though that the trust between me as a director and a studio, I think, would be key. And working on the right material. I don't think I jump into something where I'm expecting to be 18s and they're like, no, it's PG-13. Yeah, it would be the right subject matter, you know, really good story, and maybe something completely different to what I've been doing as well.
Just on the topic of, like, you know, Irish directors and the fact that it just seems like in the last like 5 to 6 years there really just does seem to be this sort of like not even resurgent, but this kind of like bursting forth. Like, you have Kieran Foy, who did, you know, Citadel, and then he did, you know, Sinister 2, and then you have Gary Shore, who did Dracula Untold, and then you have you and your thing, and you've got Rhea Robinson and all so on and so forth. And we had Birch Hamilton on from Screen Directors Guild of Ireland. She basically said that I think a lot of it is down to the fact that, you know, the likes of the IADT have this real kind of visual sense of it. I mean, what's your take on it? Like, because you look like, I mean, is it a case of you don't associate sci-fi with Ireland? Sure, you don't.
No, not at all.
So I mean, why now? Like, I mean, why is this suddenly coming to the fore? I mean, there's a very, like, if you were to go off and make a drama, you'd probably get money for it like that. Yeah. So,
like, if I was to make an Irish old period piece, I'd probably get money for it. But maybe it was, I never grew up really watching. I did grow up watching them, but they never really resonated with me that much. I think it was always, you know, your sci-fis and your Blade Runner. I seen Blade Runner and stuff very, very young, very understanding parents, and I seen them very young, like Predator and stuff like that. And it was, that's what really caught my attention, was the skeptical, or the spectacle of, wow, what is this? Like, you know, that's what kind of came to me. I don't know where the sci-fi kind of, like with sci-fi as well, with Rory, and kind of the manga with Gary, I think it comes from influences where you grew up, what you were, because Gary always credits when he grew up reading a lot of comic books. So I think that's where he went. Now, whether Cup of Tears gets made, I don't know. Whether Leviathan made, probably will happen, but I don't know where it is. And Rory's obviously always been interested in sci-fi with Silent City and all that sort of stuff. Like, so I don't know. Don't really know where it's come from. It's just, for me, it's just something that's
it's just something that's always been there.
Yeah, like who doesn't watch Alien and say they want to make it? You know,
of course,
or Star Wars, or you know,
any of these kind of things. I mean, you're obviously doing a lot of advertising work as well, because, like, you know, Coca-Cola and so on and so forth. I mean, do you find advertising work? Do you find that creatively restrictive? Or is it a case of it's a chance for you to kind of put as much flourish into it as possible? Yeah.
I would try and bring my own take to things as much as possible, working with the agencies. But to work, I haven't actually worked on a massive scale project where it's, you know, X amount for, you know, Guinness or something like that. So I don't know fully yet what the restrictive abilities would be like. You know, being positive, I don't know if there will be any. I'm not too sure. But it's unseen for me now at the moment. I love working with the agencies I work with, and it's all happy days for now.
That's good. I mean, do you have a timeline on Ayamé? I mean, is it the sort of thing that, like, if it doesn't get made in the next 5 years, I'm going to dump it and go on to something else? Do you have a timeline in mind for it?
I don't know. I'm a very patient guy, so I think I'll keep chugging away. It'll always be in the background. I mean, I sat on it for 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I think I just need to see what comes from this at the moment now. The kind of the momentum it has now. I'm going to keep pushing as much as I can. There's still a lot of blog sites in America and stuff releasing it, so it's kind of getting momentum. It's a good play count at the moment, and just see what comes. And I don't really know. I think it's always something that'll be there. It is a kind of passion project. So if it gets to a certain stage and I'm broke and I'm done, well, then I'd probably call it a day. But I think it's got a good momentum. I think it'll hopefully land its feet.
That's very good. Okay, Conor, we'll leave it there. If we can see the Ayamé, it's on Vimeo. We'll post a link on it. We hurry it, but I'll put it underneath in the article on this. So, Conor Maloney, thanks, Mel.
Thank you very much for having me.